Welcome aboard Tristan and Tommy's Runaway Railway. For your safety, please remain seated and enjoy the show. Welcome to Please Remain Seated, a theme park podcast hosted by two theme park enthusiasts that work for the industry in Central Florida, the theme park capital of the world, Orlando. This is going to be our 2022 in review episode. We're going to talk about some of our favorite experiences from theme parks this year, as well as some of our favorite news stories out of this year. But first, we got one news story that came out this morning, the morning that we recorded. Before I get to that, I'm Tommy. The other voice is Tristan. Tristan, what's going on?
Howdy, I'm Tristan. Yes, I am very, very, very excited for this. It's our only piece of news for this episode before we hop into end of year type things. But man, oh man, can I get into it, Tommy? Can I get into it?
Go.
The Walt Disney World Railroad has reopened.
Just reopened. Like there was no warning, no nothing.
Nope.
Just like some people going, "Oh, they're testing the trains now. I wonder when maybe they're going to do previews." Nope, they're just open. It's back.
We are recording this on December 23rd of 2022, and yesterday, December 22nd, I believe Disney said we're going to reopen the railroad for the holiday season, and I was like, whatever that means, I didn't quite know what that meant. And then today it just up and opens. So wow,
that's so wild.
After nearly 1,500 days of closure,
that's insane.
It closed 4 years ago in December of 2018. And Tommy, you actually messaged me something very interesting, but earlier in the day. Repeat what you messaged me about the lack of train in Tommyland.
Yeah, so the last time, so I moved to Florida in fall of 2018, and I just never got to the train before it shut down for what we didn't realize was going to be 4 years. The last time I went on the Magic Kingdom Railroad was when they were working on New Fantasyland before Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Be Our Guest ever opened. Like they were still working on New Fantasyland the last time I went on that train. And living in Florida for the last 4 years, I feel like I've known the Magic Kingdom without a train for so long, even though it's been a big part of it for almost 50 years.
So whenever you go now to Magic Kingdom here in the future, you're gonna like be walking through either Main Street or Frontierland or Fantasyland, and you're gonna see a train go by and you're gonna be like, oh wait, what is that?
Right. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to ride the train.
Yes.
I have a park reservation for early to mid-ish January, so I'm very excited that it's going to be open when I go.
I don't have a park reservation made yet, but I will be riding the train during that same time frame because I actually have a friend who will be working the train.
Yeah.
And I'm going to meet that friend.
Yeah.
And
it's a very nice Christmas present for those who plan on going to the kingdom on Christmas Day or whatever. So
anyway, so before I geek out too much about the Walt Disney World Railroad finally being back, we can hop into things.
Yeah. Gonna hop into things. Yeah.
Stranger Things.
All right. So I know that you have some news stories from the year that you want to get into. One of the things that I want to get into that I kind of want to mention, we're doing a 2022 year in review of theme park related things. In January of this year, masks were still required indoors at Disney World. It wasn't until like late February that Disney said, you know what, no more masks.
I did not realize that.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
It was that long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honestly, that recent.
Yeah.
Like that it was this year that masks were still required somewhere, and now it's so.
It feels so long ago.
I know it really does.
Yeah, that was a time. That really shook up the theme park world. The masks.
It really did.
You wouldn't think it would because when you go to a theme park, you think you just generally you walk around, you ride the rides, and you eat some food. So that does require you to take the mask off. But man, I have to say, it shook up the theme park world.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, wow. So what else do you have, Tommy?
Let's see. Because I have my little list here. The announcement of Pipeline the Surf Coaster officially. Happily Ever After, that announcement officially coming back. The the whole Six Flags doing terribly business wise. Um, and then of course Chapek being fired is on my list. Tristan, what do you have?
In terms of news stories, the ones that I went through my notes here and pulled the ones that I was most excited about. First, the Polynesian DVC Tower. That was something I wasn't anticipating. So the new DVC Tower that's coming to
Yeah.
the Polynesian. They had to tear down the Spirit of Aloha dinner
Yeah.
show for it, and they're
I'm kind of
making
sad.
progress.
I'm
Making
kind of sad.
progress.
I never saw Spirit of Aloha.
Yeah, neither did I. I heard it was good. I heard it was,
Yeah.
it's not like Hoop Doo,
Yeah.
cult classic, which is actually one of my items here. But
Oh my gosh, I haven't been back to Hoopty Doo yet.
yeah, neither have I.
Yeah. Oh
But
gosh.
so the Polynesian DVC Tower, which I've actually heard speculation now that, and this had never even occurred to me, that the Polynesian DVC Tower, they're kind of using the funding that was going to go towards Reflections, a Lakeside Lodge, which was going to be, or is, I don't even know, was
Yeah.
or is going to be a new resort that's in kind of the Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness
Yeah.
region of
It
things.
was it was going to be on top of where River Country used to be. They tore down and
They tore down River Country and leveled the ground,
yeah.
but then nothing has been spoken of
Yeah.
about it since then.
Exactly. Like COVID happened, they stopped construction and like a bunch of grass and whatever grew on that property that they flattened out. So
Yeah,
like even if they wanted to go back to it, they'll have to like redo what they've done basically over there.
yeah. So, anyways, that's something I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's an interesting concept because it does make
Yeah.
sense. Anywho, so I have that. I have, of course, Cosmic Rewind.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's
Cosmic. What
wow.
a fun ride.
That's going to come back later in my thing, but just the fact that Cosmic Rewind
Yeah.
opened is one of my favorite news stories. Hoop Doo, which I already touched on. Hoop Doo coming back. Haven't been able to go
Yeah.
back yet, but I heard it's the same great show and everything.
Mm.
The Walt Disney World Railroad we already touched on. Very exciting for me. And the last ones here is actually a piece of Universal news, which rubbed me the wrong way, being such a great movie ride fan.
Oh yeah.
The Universal Great Movie Escape
Yeah.
Room thing, which they
Yeah.
used Great Movie Rides font and everything.
Yeah. I'm like
Um,
I'm curious. That's weird.
yeah, yeah. So I may have said this in the previous episode, but I think that was Universal kind of getting back at Disney a little bit because, as legend goes, back there was some sort of meeting back in the day where Universal was basically saying, "Hey, we're going to be making a park in Central Florida. It's going to be, kind of movie studio based. That's kind of going to kind of be the theme of it and everything." Michael Eisner was sitting in on that meeting, and then was like, "I'm going to beat you to that." And then open Disney MGM Studios
With
before.
two rides.
Yep, exactly. With the Great Movie Ride.
Yeah, the great
Um,
movie ride,
and
R.I.P.
and the Backlot Tour also
Yeah,
RIP, which was at that time
R.I.P.
3 hours long.
Nice.
Yeah, two rides.
Yeah,
So anyway, those are my kind of my favorite news stories
yeah.
of the year.
And then, which if we're going to Universal, two other news stories from there. How apparently at certain points, Universal was topping attendance at Disney World minus the Magic Kingdom. Thought that was an insane news story. And then also how Universal already announced a Halloween Horror Nights house for next year, which I'm definitely going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights again in this year in review. But the fact that they announced a house a year in advance is kind of unprecedented and insane. So it's getting traction, that event. I mean, it already has. It's art, but just insane. Yes. Boom. I beat
You
you
knew
to
I
it,
was gonna
nerd.
say it. You knew I
Yeah.
was gonna say
I know what's going on. I've been
it.
doing this show long enough.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that really. We've been doing this show for just about 14 months now. Actually, almost
Yeah.
15 months. Started October 1st of 2021. The 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World was when our show debuted.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
And we're still celebrating the 50th.
Yeah, and then that's going to go right into the 100 years of the Walt Disney Company.
Oh, yeah. That'll be
So,
fun.
which I'm interested. The thing I'm most interested about that, just to quickly divert, is the traveling. It's like a museum type of thing. They're doing a traveling exhibit
Yeah.
with all sorts of different Disney things. And I don't know if it's coming to Central Florida yet.
Hmm.
It's not any of the first stops on the tour that it's doing, but that's what I'm most
Yeah,
excited for the 100 years.
yeah,
But I'm sure we'll get to that in another
yeah,
episode.
yeah. I'm most curious what they're gonna do in Epcot for the nighttime spectacular, because to great praise, tomorrow announced that Happily Ever After is coming back next year. We're getting rid of Enchantment after the 50th, I believe. But then also after the 50th, we're losing Harmonious. And Epcot Forever is actually going to return for a little bit, which hot take. I honestly loved Epcot Forever. But Harmonious is also an amazing show. So the fact that they're getting rid of it after only a year and a half, but there's going to be a 100th anniversary type of show in Epcot.
Mhm.
So I'm very curious what that's going to look like
Yeah.
on World Showcase Lagoon. Supposedly they're getting rid of the taco barges, so I don't.
I heard that
Yeah,
those cost a pretty penny.
yeah, to only use for a year and a half too.
So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yes, 100 years, crazy.
Yeah.
Do we have any other news, or should we hop into our favorite experiences of the
Let's
year?
hop into some of our favorite experiences of the year, Tristan.
Yeah, you want me to lead us off?
Yeah, lead us off, Tristiano.
I'll go through all mine. I only have three. Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, I was already hyped for that. Like I was not thinking it was going to be less than it was by any
Mhm.
means, but like wow, when I rode that, I was like, this is cool. I mean, this is a whole new
Yeah.
type of thing. So that's definitely one of my favorite experiences. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Yeah.
I love roller coasters.
Hmm.
Um, man, you put them together, and you Epcot got a roller coaster.
Yeah. And also the story of the ride is very Epcot at heart too, which I really love. I feel
Mm,
like so many people go, "Oh my, what's Guardians doing in Epcot?"
yeah.
But the story has very much Epcot at heart, and that makes me happy.
I was always hoping, and maybe I had actually heard this somewhere, and maybe I didn't think of it, but I was hoping that there would be some sort of spoilers. We're not going to necessarily
Mhm.
talk about what's in the ride, but I'm going to talk about what's not in the
Mhm.
ride.
Yeah.
I was hoping that there'd be something cool with like Peter Quill as a kid going to Epcot and seeing like old
Yeah.
1982 era Epcot, which would have made sense because
Yeah.
Epcot's kind of going back to that era with a lot
Hmm.
of their logo, the statue
Yeah.
that's in front of Spaceship Earth, all that sort of thing. I thought that would have been a really cool opportunity if
I
they would
mean,
have had that happen.
yeah, they did kind of tease some stuff in the queue, because there's a part of the queue where Peter Quill is in an interview, is like, "Man, I'm so excited to see Horizons and all that." Like, I have those memories of going to Epcot as a kid. So
Does
they
that
they
actually
kind of,
happen? I've never
yeah,
noticed
that
that.
does happen in the queue actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah, so I mean, they don't show Peter Quill as a kid or anything, but he talks about going to Epcot as a kid in part of the queue at one
oh,
point.
works for me.
So that part towards the end of the queue before going into the pre-show room,
Yeah.
it's it shows that sometimes it interviews some of the Guardians. One of them, Peter Quill's talking about that.
See, I've only ridden it twice, so maybe I just didn't notice, or maybe it didn't work, or something. I don't know. But
You've only been on it twice.
yeah.
Part of my language. Yeah, no, I've been on it more than that. But anyways,
My other favorite experiences uh, were Phantasmic coming back.
oh my gosh,
My
Phantasmic coming
all-time
back.
favorite
Yes.
nighttime spectacular show at Walt Disney World is Phantasmic. And it was gone too long. I get being gone for a little bit after
Hmm.
after COVID because money was weird, budgets were weird. I get it. But man, it took too long for that show to come
Hmm.
back. And I have to say,
It.
we already talked about it in the previous episode. I love the new Phantasmic.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Me too. The updated scenes are absolutely amazing. I love them so much. I only saw it once on opening night and pretty bad seating, but good enough to watch still. So I need to go back to get better seats and just enjoy it again. It's such a good show.
Mm-hmm. Love it. And then my third and final isn't actually very theme park related, but we have touched on it a couple times throughout our podcast, and that was my Halloween Disney cruise. We really have to, Tommy, you got to get yourself on a cruise at some point,
Yeah.
and then we can do a
Hmm.
whole cruise episode.
Oh
Um,
my God, I'd love to do that.
Best vacation I've ever been on.
Yeah.
It was a 5 night cruise to the Bahamas and then to Mexico as well. And so it was actually considered a Eastern Caribbean cruise, I think. Um, Man, oh man, loved it. But so those are my three favorite theme park or theme park-ish experiences of the year.
Oh, those are some really good experiences. I'm gonna get into mine. So at the beginning of 2022, I had 81 coaster credits. at the end of this year, I have 140. So I rode 59 new roller coasters this year, from ones that I haven't been on in Florida to ones that opened in this state to just visiting theme parks I've never been to. And of those 59, three of those roller coasters are world record breakers or holders. One of them, the Beast at Kings Island, has been the longest wooden roller coaster in the world since 1979. It has held that record for over 40 years. And I got to ride that. And it's the longest roller coaster on this side of the world, too. So that's really cool. I also got to ride the steepest roller coaster in the world, TMT Shellraiser, which is 121.5 degrees steep. It is the dumbest, steepest drop I've ever experienced. It was so cool. And then I also got to ride the tallest roller coaster in the world, King Ka, it has a top hat at 456 feet tall. It is also the second fastest in the world. It is the fastest on this side of the world at 128 miles an hour. But up until 2011, it was also the fastest in the world. So, three world record breaking coasters that I got to ride this year for the first time. Really awesome. I went on, as I mentioned, quite a few theme park trips outside of the state. I think my favorite new park that I visited was probably Kings Island, though. Definitely like outside of like the Disney Universal type of parks, I think it's my favorite. Just the atmosphere of the park was very nice. The operations were absolutely incredible. All the rides, like even like, it wasn't even the busiest days, but like they were running three trains and the ops were just on top of it. Like, I remember going to Busch Gardens Tampa like the next week here locally, and honestly, it was like kind of eye-opening to see like what good ops versus bad ops looks like. And I do love Busch Gardens Tampa, by the way, but just like their ops, get back on it. And then my third one that I want to get into, kind of like Tristan, is also Halloween related. Halloween Horror Nights. I've been to Halloween Horror Nights in years past. Tristan, you're holding your mic. Were you gonna say some words?
No, no, no. I was just getting it ready in case I wanted to. I will touch
Cool.
on Halloween though when you're done.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to say about the other experiences I mentioned?
No, I don't care about those.
No, you don't care about it. Cool. So Halloween Horror Nights, I've been to it in years past, but I've only ever gone once a year. This was my first year getting a frequent fear pass, and I went literally at least once a week, every single week of Horror Nights. I always had a good crew to go with. I just have so many fond memories of, just being in the weekend queue, listening to the weekend music, waiting for that house. Or I remember there was one time in particular where me and my girlfriend were going through Blumhouse, and there's this group of teenage boys that were just screaming and falling all over each other, just terrified of this house. And it was a pretty scary house, and that just made it so much funnier and better. But I think the biggest, like, probably core memory of Horror Nights for me is going to be the very final performance of Halloween Nightmare Fuel Wildfire. So Nightmare Fuel was a stage show that they had that had dancing and illusions and pyro and acrobatic things, whatever. It was very cool adult content type of show. Um, but it happened every night of Horror Nights, at least 3 or 4 times a night, I forget. Um, and I went to Horror Nights on the first night, and I went on the last night. And on the last night on Halloween, I went to the very last Nightmare Fuel. And the crowd that was there, they've all been there before. Like at least half of that crowd had been to that show before. Like you could just tell, and like the atmosphere from the staff that let us into the theater to the performers, it was just a whole other level. And I still ride the high of attending that specific performance. Like they were all really good every performance I went to, but like that one was special. Um, anyways, yeah,
Sounds like you had a good old time there at the Halloween Horror Nights.
I really did.
Still haven't been, but to touch on Halloween, and this goes back to my cruise. Disney does Halloween correct on the cruise. They do it right. Now it's not over the top. So I was on a 5-night
Yeah,
cruise. I'll keep this brief or else I'll go on forever. It's a 5-night
yeah.
cruise. The Halloween decorations are up the whole time, but
Mhm.
there's only one day of it that's actually Halloween themed in terms of like the dance party, the character meet and greets, uh the trick or treating and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But they do it right, man. It is a lot of fun. In the atrium of the cruise
Mhm.
ship is like typically where like the
Mhm.
grand staircases and the elevators. There's this really cool
Yeah.
creepy looking tree with pumpkins hanging
Ooh.
off of it. And they do a little show there where someone that kind of looks like the caretaker from the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's so cool.
Story of the tree. And then they light the tree, so that's like a whole thing.
That is so cool.
New for this year was Minnie, Daisy, and Clarabelle as the Sanderson sisters. So it was those three
That's fun.
characters, but dressed as the Sanderson sisters, and they only did that on the Disney cruise and at
That
Disneyland.
that's cool.
Trick or treating is awesome. I mean, you
Mhm.
just walk around a few areas of the ship, and there's people stationed like every 15 feet, and they just give you a handful of candy. It's
So
still
cool.
fun. Hocus Pocus 2 had just come out, but they
Oh,
were playing it in the movie theater and actually the main theater as well, like where they do the stage shows. They were playing it on the ship while it was still new, which was neat.
that's really
And
cool. Man, I keep saying that.
yeah,
What a
no, it was
cool.
awesome. It
Yeah.
was awesome. Highly recommend that. Next year, my girlfriend and I are looking to do the Christmas cruise
Mm.
because we haven't done that yet, and I bet it's just as fun. But anyway,
Yeah.
in terms of Halloween Horror Nights, Tommy had a great
Yeah.
time going to see The Weekend. I wonder if they're going to have like a
Yeah.
Fergie-licious house next year or something
That
because
would
The
honestly be
Weekend
cool.
makes no
Honestly,
sense.
like no, well, honestly, I'm brain farting really hard, but the weekend does have some spooky vibes and had spooky music videos, so it made more sense than you think. And honestly, it was one of the best house. It was honestly my favorite house this year.
Yeah.
And it genuinely was one of the best houses. And actually, because of the house, got really into the weekend. And, Halloween Horror Nights only started in September. The weekend was my number one artist of this year on my Spotify Wrapped, and he's already my number two artist on Spotify of all time, just because I've been listening to him way too much. I would honestly like to see more pop artist themed houses, just because waiting in the queue for the weekend was fun. Because you're just in the queue and you have it. Yeah, it's a good vibe.
I want the JoJo Siwa house.
Low key though, Lady Gaga unironically would be an amazing Horror Nights house.
Lady Gaga would be great. That reminds me because she's in American Horror Story, a few of the
Mm-hmm.
seasons. I don't
Yeah,
know who owns American Horror Story. Disney actually might.
and it's like rah rah bad romance, and it's spooky.
But it'd be cool if they were
Yeah,
able to do something with that. But yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Good year. Good year.
Yeah. One one
Um,
one final note on Horror Nights. That's also kind of where me and my girlfriend's relationship started to blossom. So,
mhm.
anyways,
And that means it can't end until next Horror Nights.
correct, or just hopefully it doesn't. Who knows? I don't care. It's only
I
been 3 months,
I
but
guess. I don't
she
know.
might come. She might come to her senses and realize that I'm an idiot. But who knows?
Tommy, I've been by your side for how many years now? You're
At
all right.
least two.
You're
Yeah.
all right. I've known you for
I
longer. How long have we known each other?
good.
Since
2019.
yeah, February of 2019.
So it'll be 4 years coming up.
Our 4 year
Yeah.
anniversary is
Our,
coming
our
up in
4 year
February.
anniversary. I can't wait. That's gonna be very romantic.
hmm Maybe we'll finally go to Busch Gardens because I've never been.
Oh right. Yeah. You
I'm still
gotta
waiting
yeah
for that.
take. Oh yeah.
But all right, cool. Well, those are some good experiences. We both had a good year in theme park land.
Absolutely.
So you actually had this great idea too, that we could talk about, and it was our top 5 rides that we've done this year,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if they're not rides that we rode for the first time this year. Right? Is that what you said?
I was thinking five rides that are new to us, but they didn't have to be new this year. So I went on a lot of rides that were new to me this year, but they didn't open up this year.
Tommy, what 5 rides
Yeah.
did you think I was gonna have? Do I
I,
go
honestly,
anywhere? Do I ride new
yes.
rides, Tommy?
You don't. All right, I'll do my thing. You do your thing.
All right, just go, just go.
No, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
I,
Yeah,
I,
so
I,
only one of these is actually new this year. Although all but one are somewhat new. So the new one this year is obviously Cosmic Rewind.
yeah.
But there is going to be a theme that ties all 5 of these together. My other 4 are the Velocicoaster, Hagrid's Magical Motorbike, Hoobity Wuddy,
Mhm.
Expedition Everest, and Flight of Passage. The reason I picked those 5 is because I got to experience those 5 rides this year with my friends from Illinois who haven't been down here in years. And these are all my best friends I grew up with. So getting to experience all of these cool things with them really for the first time, with the exception of Expedition Everest, I had ridden it with them when when our high school came down and when we came down after graduating high school. But anyway, so being able to kind of see things through their eyes, I actually touched on that in the previous episode. Seeing the parks through my friend's eyes when we went to go
That's always fun.
was really cool. Because it got me out of my own headspace, and it was kind of more exciting in a way.
Yeah.
To experience it with them, especially Cosmic Rewind being brand new and so
Oh
cool.
yeah.
They loved that. So and Velocicoaster and Hagrid's, man,
Oh yeah.
they
That's the
liked
best.
Velocicoaster more than anything at Disney, and I half agree.
I it it's my number one, honestly.
Yeah,
I remember earlier this year we did like a top 10 coaster segment, and initially I didn't have Velocicoaster as my number one, but it is my number one now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if it was mine. It was definitely in my top three.
Yeah.
I think it was my number one,
I
to
th
be
I think
honest.
it was your number one.
Yeah,
It's just like it's just the total package.
it's got everything.
Thrills, theming, operations, nothing touches it.
Yep, yep.
Like
But
on anyway,
maybe Chris Pratt will be in another movie franchise that gets a roller coaster.
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's already
he's
got
in
two.
two. Yeah, he's got two of them.
So
Like, what's it like being a part of the two of the best roller coasters in the world? Like,
yeah,
in like the same city. That what a flex.
yeah. I wonder if he visits Orlando just
I
to
hope he does.
go on his own Chris Pratt tour.
I mean, I need to do the Chris Pratt challenge. I've been meaning to do that, but I haven't done it yet.
What he needs to do is he needs to do a guest voice on Peppa Pig so that Daddy Coaster or whatever it's called can
Yes,
have a
let's
Chris Pratt.
go. I got to experience that one this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And I can't believe it.
wild.
I can't believe it. But
I can.
all right. What about what were yours, Tommy?
Darn. See, now I even want to mention my new top five, but my top five rides that were new to me this year. We've kind of talked about the Guardians, and then the Beast I mentioned. Um, Orion, which is a B&M Giga coaster, also at Kings Island with the Beast, has a 300-foot drop, super very fun floaty ride. Um, the next one is going to be King Ka. And then my number one new ride that I've been on this year that I hadn't ridden before this year was also new, open this year, Iron Guazi at Busch Gardens Tampa. That ride is just absolutely nuts. Now King Ka and Iron Guazi are also both in my top five now. My top five now are King Ka, Iron Guazi, Steel Vengeance, Millennium Force, and Velocicoaster. Uh, so a little bit different than it was earlier this year. I also had Fury 325 joined in my top 10. Like I had been on it a few years ago, but I didn't remember it well. But I went to Carowinds earlier this year. Those are my top five new rides for me of 2022.
Thanks, Tommy.
Out of the 59 new ones, those are my five favorites. How you doing, Lua? Lulu. That's my cat. I don't. Can you see her?
You did
Tristan?
this last episode.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I forget that she just hides under my bed sometimes.
You
I
forgot
feel on my bed.
there was another useless organism in your room with you.
No, sometimes she just does that.
Yeah.
No, like I'm not even kidding. Like sometime earlier this week, me and my girlfriend were just like in my bed watching a movie, and we were talking about Lua too.
Mhm.
And then out of nowhere, we just see her at my door trying to leave. Like, when did she get in here?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. All right.
classic Lua.
Yeah. Classic Lua. All right.
So
Well,
that
man, quite a year.
what are your?
Tommy, you had quite a year. What are you asking me?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's
Well,
been quite a year for theme parks.
yeah. Yeah. And to keep it animal related, I got a beagle this year.
You got a beagle.
Got a beagle.
And
Yeah.
we actually got another cat that joined our apartment as well.
You got another cat
Now,
when?
it was at the beginning of November.
Oh, all right. So
Um,
I already knew about this apparently.
you knew about it. That cat is very cute, and sometimes we like her, but she's also a psycho.
Mm,
Like literally everything is a toy to her.
oh
And
no.
actually, funny, and actually no. So I forgot Lou was in my room up until now, but before we recorded both these episodes, both cats were in my room, but Sabrina was being annoying, so I just kicked her out. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
Get out.
Kicked her right out into the 30-degree cold that we're currently experiencing in Central Florida.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, if that about wraps up our reviews, we have a couple classic segments here, or actually one
Yeah.
classic segment. Oh, two
Uh,
classic segments. Yeah, we got Karen's and we got Tristory.
oh shoot. All right. Well, we got 8 minutes and
In
55
55
seconds.
seconds. Yeah. So we'll,
All
we'll we'll
right.
knock it out. I'll read it quick. So
Cool.
these Karens, man, I tell you, I got one for Disney and for Universal.
All right. I
Um,
might have to kick Lou out while you start
yeah, you
talking
go.
about him.
You go do. I'll do that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this first one, this first one's for Disney. So I'll read it here. Probably the worst family-oriented park on the face of the earth. So right out of the gate, we are just emotionally charged and over-exaggerating everything.
Yeah.
Park is they didn't spell anything. Reminiscence, not reminiscent. They did not spell it correctly. Of
Yeah.
1960. Keep in mind, this is for Walt Disney World in Florida. Reminiscent of 1960, 11 years before it opened.
Yeah.
Few areas are updated with new facilities. Think about how many things have been refurbished lately.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, but they are overcrowded. A family of 4 can easily spend $700 for tickets only and $300 for food and gifts, yet leave the park with agony and pain. Park is always oversold. Apparently, this person has access to the capacity limits and how they are overselling the tickets somehow. Consequently, rides have very long waiting. Frozen ride was 2 hours, 15 minutes waiting line for us and mostly under open while raining, as it normally rains daily in Florida. How did that make it into your review? Like, yeah, it's Florida. What did you think?
Yeah.
Not Disney's fault.
Honestly, this entire review just sounds like they did not do any research before coming to Florida. It's like, did you show up to Florida and then figure out that it was hundreds of dollars on tickets?
Yeah,
You
come
knew
on.
that beforehand.
Come on. And this is actually quite kind of a lengthy Yelp review. I think I found it off Yelp, and like I usually trim them down just to get the gold
Yeah.
pieces out, but this whole thing, every single sentence is stupid.
Yeah.
Thus the issue, I like how they threw thus in there, like they're freaking William Shakespeare or something. And the rest of their thing is grammatically horrible. Thus the issue with operational planning.
Huh?
They followed the rain. It's always raining, and Frozen's line was under rain with operational planning. How did
I'm trying to.
what I don't know. I don't even know where to begin.
Disney World literally has some of the best operations in the world, so I don't know what.
Yeah, but the line was under the rain.
Oh, that sounds like
Sounds
a
like some
personal
bad
problem.
operational planning
Yeah.
to me. If
Yeah, I
you
guess
go
so.
ahead and pay extra for advance reservations for $200,
What?
I don't know what advanced reservations are $200. First advanced options do not cover popular rides. So they must be talking about Genie Plus. Don't know where they got $200 from.
Maybe the total for the whole family.
Maybe. I don't know. I just don't know. Or rides are canceled. Canceled. Or rides are canceled.
Rides are canceled.
Rides are canceled. Big Thunder Mountain's canceled today, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
not shut down or temporarily delayed, just canceled.
Canceled. Get this one. Food is either scarce or super overpriced and bad. Where is food scarce at Disney?
Yeah.
Where is food scarce?
Yeah, were they not at Epcot?
Yeah, come on.
There's literally food everywhere. There's
There's
food carts
food
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Overpriced,
Yeah, but I mean,
probably. But
you
then
gotta know
they
what you're
said
getting.
overpriced and bad. Most Disney food's not that bad.
Honestly, Disney has the best theme park food in the world.
Yeah.
That's one of many things that Disney does better than everything else. Everyone else.
All in all, Disney is cashing on its legacy brand and Disney Plus TV channel to skim customers.
Disney Plus TV channel.
Yeah. But in the parks, you're being
Yeah.
Disney's cashing on its legacy brand and Disney Plus TV channel to skim customers. I don't know how that has anything to do with Walt Disney World.
So, I'm gonna say that parts of that review I kind of see where they're coming from or where they're trying to come from, but they just sound dumb and had their expectations wrong, or just we're too dumb.
I'll get this. I think this place should be closed down until Disney decides to budget for capital improvement. Else, this charade ought to be closed down.
I,
Someone's not a business major.
they're not. They're barely they barely have a high school diploma, let
It sounds
alone.
like what they're saying is Disney is charging a lot for things and making a lot of money. They should
Yeah,
close down.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then here I'll blow through this Universal one pretty quick. You only got a little bit left.
3 minutes, yeah.
Universal. This is the worst place ever in existence for all of crap they tell you about it being high tech. These things break down every 5 minutes, and minutes is spelled mintus. If I could give Universal in Orlando 0 stars, I would. There is not enough words to describe how horrible of an experience this place could be. First off, the capacity of people was outrageous. I swear it felt like I seen a million new people in one day. That's theme park life, buddy. Get used to
Yeah.
it. Second of
Honestly, if you
all,
go, I will say if you went on a Saturday, Saturdays at Universal are pretty miserable. So
oh, I bet. Yeah.
yeah.
Second of all, everything is grotesquely overpriced for almost $2,000, and the dollar sign is at the end of 2000.
What?
And 5 people, you can get the worst, hottest dumpster fire experience you've ever had. Will never in my life be coming back, a waste of money and travel. Thirdly, the lack of any air conditioning units and fans was astounding for how miserable it was. Any fans were blowing nothing but hot air.
Huh.
What kind of fans are blowing? You're in the summer
I
heat
Yeah.
in Florida. What fans
It's
aren't blowing
hot.
cold air unless
Yeah.
you're indoors.
Drink water.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, Fourthly, is the lines are so long that in the time I've wrote this, the line hasn't moved but an inch. They wrote this in line for something. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It is not worth your money or time.
They're probably in line for Hogwarts Express. That
Probably
line
is
moves
what it
pretty
is.
slow.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. Wow. But okay,
that
we have a minute and 48 left. I'm gonna blow through this Tristory, all right?
Okay.
Because it's quick. Candlelight Processional. The first iteration of this event was held during Disneyland's first holiday season in 1955, where 12 singers called the Dickens Carolers sang throughout the park, with guest choirs performing at the Main Street USA Bandstand, which had actually been moved into Adventureland by this point. That same year, the Carolers were joined by a 300-person chorus on the train station steps, where they were accompanied by visiting school bands. They were joined by the Disneyland Band the following year, and in 1957, the choirs would follow the Christmas Around the World parade down Main Street towards the plaza. The event was first called the Candlelight Processional in 1958. And in 1960, the first actor read parts of the biblical Christmas story. This was the same year the choir members would stand on a structure in the shape of a living Christmas tree made up of high school students. Cast members filled the living Christmas tree in the center of the stage starting in 1982. The Candlelight Processional started in Walt Disney World at the Magic Kingdom in 1971 and was moved to Epcot in 1994. Okay, Tommy, talk us out.
Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a wonderful year of theme parks. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars. You love us, we love you. We'll see you guys in 2023 for more theme park things.
Bye.
The Zoom's about to kick us out, so I'm rushing. Love you guys.
Bye.